Good evening, everyone. It's good to see you all faces. Sure would have been nice to be in San Antonio. I was looking forward to that. But however, we'll make the best of it. I see somebody coming on, Jackie Vance. Don't know you personally, but I love your background. It looked like he's on the beach. I don't know if that's just a background picture or what, but I'm loving it. Um, anyway, so we're just gonna jump right into storytelling because we don't have a lot of time, and we would like to hear everyone's story who would like to tell. Um, of course, you have 5 minutes or less. I know some of you all heard that. I will be keeping time on my timer. When you get down to 4 minutes, I will hold my phone up. Let me see. I got to see I will hold it up so you can see it. Hopefully you're looking. But when the 5 minutes ding, I'm going to be like, oh, that was amazing. That was great, spectacular. However, whatever, we're going to move on to the next one because we want to hear as many as we can. So, and it's all in love. With me, I'm going to start the storytelling. I actually have my timer set for myself as well. I have timed myself, though, a few times. So hopefully, and it was shorter than 5 minutes. So hopefully that'll be the same as right now because I don't plan on adding to or taking away. Well, I could take away some. But I'm getting ready to start now, and then we'll go right into the next one. So my name is Sheena Salma. Before Bridges, I had left a domestic violence marriage. Single mother of 3 boys. No housing assistance, not due to how much money I was making, due to a technicality of them not receiving one paper that I faxed to them. However, whatever, no housing. And I had to wait a whole year to do that. So I was struggling. Before then, I was struggling, but even more so then, I was struggling with 3 boys. I was like a functioning depressed person. Didn't realize it then, but I know now what I was. I was a functioning depressed person. I can't say I ever lost all hope because in the situation, I had started my journey with my relationship with God. So I had a little glimpse of hope. I didn't know what my day-to-day life was going to be like, but I knew I had something to hold on to. And with that being said, I'm sorry, I thought I had my phone on silent. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, so I started Bridges. And I was still in the tyranny of the moment at that time. Didn't know anything about the program or anything. I was told to apply. I did. At that time, my boss, Tom, he mentored me, and he helped me. I was so stressed. I was depressed, and I wasn't communicating with my boys, but I was scared for them of getting caught up in, selling drugs or just in the streets, because with, 3 young African-American men, and see their mom struggling, it's kind of, I'm a helper. That's the kind of mentality that some of them get. So I tried to keep that side from them. So there were many nights, I'm up crying when they were sleeping. But with Tom mentoring me, he helped me learn how to ask them questions. So that helped me in my parenting skills. It helped me go from my parent voice to an adult voice. And with that, it transformed my parenting style. It transformed me and my boys' life. I mean, everything went far as with my parenting skills and our relationship, it completely changed. It was like a complete 180. Now, I'm going to mention one's name, Kyrie. That's my middle son. He thought, because of our relationship, how it got better, I learned that he thought I didn't love him at all. He wanted to commit suicide. He, in 3rd grade up through maybe middle school, he would do little stuff I had no idea of. Like I said, he wanted to commit suicide. But with our relationship getting better, and he understood, my mom loved me. She was struggling. She was depressed, stressed, whatever. He understood it. And so we were able to get through that. And everything changed. And so now I can say that now I am married. I I don't live check to check. I'm not an attorney of the moment. I have a savings. I am a business owner now. Um, my three boys, two of them have a career. One is in HVAC, one is a welder. My oldest one just bought a home a year ago. And my middle one, Kyrie, he's in his second year of college, doing well. I have joy. I love life. It was never a question if I love my boys because I always loved them, but now I actually love myself. And I love being a success coach. I love my job, everything about it. I love it. I've been doing it for 7.5 years. I absolutely love it. And my job allows me to help others. And I love when I get to meet people who come in that remind me of me, when their life mirrored my life before Bridges. And I love to watch them transition from the tyranny of the moment to stability and self-sufficiency. I love it. And that is the greatest reward of all. And that was 4 minutes and 30 seconds, guys, because my timer is going off on me. But that's what I wanted to share with you all. So I was starting it off, and who would like to go next? We are ready for you.
Well, Kiva said she would go next. And if you would like to tell your story, please put your name in the chat box and indicate that you would like to tell your story.
Sheena, that is a amazing story. Seriously, like, congrats on all the wonderful things that have been happening in life. That is like awesome, serious. Hi, everybody. My name is Kiva Bell-Smalls, Kiva Smalls. I am a GA grad. I'm here in Wisconsin, Marinette. My story is pretty much me, how I became a GA grad, which in the time of my life, I just got separated with my ex, and I was officially becoming a single parent of 3. And at this time, it's different. When I was with my husband, I kind of let him be the person who was, the man of the house, and he took care of everything. Now that I'm on my own, I realized, like, hold up, I need to get our household how I want it for my children and for myself. And so I kind of just, I don't know, went into myself and start praying, and things just start opening. So I'm getting help. I still am. I get help from the state, and it was a program. And when I got in there, those ladies, they're just absolutely wonderful. They helped me, like, doing that process, going through each session, kind of like made me realize what I was lacking, what it was I was holding myself back. And with that, I was able to identify what I need to do to get to my goals. And my main goal was trying to get a business going, and I wanted to get a daycare going. When I was in the work field with my husband, I used to work some second shift hours, and it was hard to find childcare. So I knew that was one of my biggest things, was to open up a daycare that was catered to the second shifts. So I just needed to get that up and going. Lucky for me, I have like a good support system. My parents, my family, they helped me out because I needed childcare on my own, because I needed money to get my business going. I needed a place. So have to work like 3 jobs and doing odd end jobs just to get that going. I'm still trying to maintain a life for my children and myself. Getting ahead helped me figure out what was I doing to hold myself back, which a lot of was time and excuses. I was making a lot of excuses, and then I was figuring that out. So it took me a good 4 years. I had so many setbacks. Like, every time they would come out there, they would say something else was wrong. I had to get that fixed. I had to do this. I became a carpenter, which I never even knew. I know how to fix walls and stuff like that. And I'm doing all of this stuff because I don't have the money to pay for other people to come in to fix this stuff. But I'm doing all this stuff to get this daycare up and going. And that process, it took me 4 years, and officially I got my license in May of this year. So now I'm a business owner, and I'm so happy with that. I'm going to school, and that right there, which something was supposed to be 2 years, took me 3 years to, and come spring, got my associate's degree in early childhood education. So it's been a long journey, and there's been some ups and some downs, but it's been fun, and we still pushing and we still going, and I definitely thank the girls for being support, because the GA Getting Ahead program, they helped me with like supplies, just being there as in support team, because I still go there after I graduated, go monthly, whenever I can, to go to the meetings. And it's good when you have a support team. You can do anything, honestly, you can do anything, because there's been times I wanted to give up. I promise you, I thought this wasn't for me, and I just was like, you know what, nope. Everybody keeps saying, Kiva, you got this, you can keep doing this. And with that support and with that push, yeah. So that's my story.
Awesome.
Thank you.
That is awesome. That takes tenacity.
Kiva, tell them what you're doing on the national board now. How you're on the National Getting Ahead Committee.
Yes, I am. I am on the national board for the Getting Ahead. So I help with the facilitators, the online schooling, and giving input and ideas. I'm going to do my first training come next month. I'm doing a module, so that's kind of exciting and out my comfort zone and new for me. But what I learned is whenever you step out your comfort zone, like more blessings come. So it's been.
That's awesome. Hey, I need your contact information too on that, with that training. I need that. Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome.
Thank you.
Who would like to go next, Miss Ruth?
Yes, it's Laura Kessler.
Hi. I'm Laura Kessler from Mexico, Missouri, and I just graduated the Getting Ahead classes. I did the commencement address intro, and instead of doing the full 27-minute speech, I'm just going to drop it down to a poem. I entitled it, Settle the Dust or Soak Me to the Roots. My brother's father, sister, and mother, look around, what do you see? A family of 9 living in poverty. I am a middle child full of opportunity, hopeful with life. Nobody seems or understands my strife. Daddy is gone in the Air Force to win a war. Mother is near but scrubbing our dirt floor. Parents working, family is gone. Grandmother's faith moves mountains to carry us on. Look up, sister, then another brother cries. Settles the dust forming in her eyes. Wake up, middle child, you're in for a big surprise. Time goes fast, not even enough to know. You must provide the food for the family to grow. Brothers argue over the last crust of bread. Parents wonder, well, will we rest our weary heads? I've been there, and maybe you have too, crying out for wisdom to know what to do. How do I teach them what they must know? Life is short, but it started with me. Show others freedom, bridge this gap of poverty. Soak me to the roots by getting ahead. Then we won't just get by instead. That's all I got.
That was amazing.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed that. That was awesome. That was awesome. Wow. All righty. So who, Ms. Ruth, do we have anybody else, or are we just on a whim?
No, it's Bonnie M. Bonnie Maston's up next. And she doesn't have a video, but we have her audio.
All righty.
Okay, hi, I'm Bonnie Maston. I come from a family of 10 that we had. I lived a pretty abusive childhood. We were really poor, didn't have running water, not much food. Went to school just to eat. Then I had a couple marriages that weren't good. And I was at a point in my life when I just wanted to end it all. I wanted to kill myself. So then I ended up going and finding a counselor who worked wonders. And if it wasn't for her getting me into the Get Ahead program and really helping me out with my head, I don't think I would have done it. And then I started to go into the Get Ahead program. And then just having everybody having my back, I decided to go back to school and get my GED. So it took me 4 months, but I graduated, and everybody from our group that was there came to support me and watch me graduate. And then we still do our meetings once a month, and it keeps me focused on what is more important in life, helping people and staying connected with people that sometimes ain't in your family, just strangers that treat you better than your family. So for me, it's just been a learning thing, and it keeps my head on straight. And that's what I like to do. Might not be 5 minutes, but that's me in a nutshell.
Oh, well, awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Not a problem.
All right. Next we have Garica Hunter. Did I say that correctly?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
It's Garica. Nice to meet everyone. Okay, so I got a whole little story, so let me jump right into it. My name is Garica Hunter. I'm currently residing in Dayton, Ohio. I'm originally born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. So my story is a little bit of being a teen mother. So I have 6 kids, believe it or not, 6 real children that I've given birth to. And I was a teen mother at 17. I graduated, and I kind of was just trying to navigate, trying to figure out what I was trying to do. So I went to college, not knowing now at 31 years old that I never wanted a college degree, that I felt like that wasn't my path. So I didn't want to do that. So I went from that. I got into an abusive marriage at about 22. I lived over in South Korea. By the time I was 24, I had 4 kids. So I came back, broken marriage, separated, coming out of that, just picking up remnants of myself. I didn't know who I was after that marriage. He tore me down to, I felt like I was nothing. And so I did a lot of couch surfing, a lot of moving with my small children for about 4 years in Atlanta. And then I ended up in a shelter. I hit rock bottom. And once I hit rock bottom, I was like I have nothing else to lose. So I moved to Ohio, and I came here and moved to a shelter. And that's when I was introduced to the Getting Ahead program through LeVar Glover from Community Action out of Ohio. And I kind of just hit the ground running with with Getting Ahead. And a little bit before that, while I was in that dark place, because I was like, how did I get in a shelter with my kids? And I avoided the rock bottom for years, but when I finally hit rock bottom, I was able to look up from that place. I didn't have nowhere else to go but up. I was at the bottom. I had nothing. So I looked up from there. I kind of just stopped feeling bad for myself. And instead of waiting for an opportunity, I created an opportunity for myself. And I got a car while I was in the shelter. First 2 months in there, I did the class, and then they kind of was like, when I did the class, they was like, we think you would be good at facilitating the Getting Ahead program, and I was like, okay, I think that's something I can do. So they pushed me to get certified. So I was certified, and I've taught to facilitate over about 3 classes as a co-facilitator. It really changed my life. It helped me shape my future story. Everything I do, we learn in this course. I use that to shape my future. When I first started, I was working at a job that paid about $11 an hour. I make twice as that now. I'm no longer homeless. I also no longer have Section 8. I only stayed on it for about a year. And now I'm a doula. That's my passion. It's been a doula, women and birthing babies, breastfeeding and nursing. That's my number one passion. Helping people in homelessness is also my passion. Started my nonprofit. And doing all that while being a mother of 6, a single mother of 6. And, I give all glory to God, and just everybody. I feel like this is me. I feel like I know you guys because we've been through this journey together, and we've gotten so many things out of it. But I can literally say the young people, I got it out the mud. That's how I feel. I got it out the mud. I came from the bottom, Never was in poverty. My choices put me in poverty. My choices, the things that I chose, it was situational poverty. I didn't grow up in poverty, but being able to have that foot in poverty, I feel like once I get everything off the ground with my nonprofit, I can be someone that they can speak to and say, okay, she knows where I've been. Like, she's not just up here talking to me and telling me, what to do. She slept in the shelter. She's had the car that won't start. She's had these babies eating this slop in a homeless shelter. Like, she's done it. So this opportunity, Getting Ahead, has opened so many doors for me, and I'm always speaking very highly of the program. So I just appreciate the opportunity to speak. Thank you, guys.
Wow. You almost made my eyeballs start sweating over here. Amazing. Thank you for being so vulnerable. That was amazing.
Wonderful. So next up is Letitia Kimler.
Hello. I'm from Pueblo, Colorado. We started the Getting Ahead program here a year ago in August. Before I started, I had no idea of no resources. I was just felt like I was a sitting duck in poverty. I was lost and confused. I'm on a set income, and the set income wasn't lasting the full month. And now I could stretch my money almost to the next month. And before COVID happened, I was able to save. I would set goals for myself, and I was accomplishing the goals further than more. Instead of saying put in this much money aside, I put twice the amount for the month aside. And it's so much easier. I was like, I can never save, and doing these classes helped me. And I tell everybody, if you get an opportunity to take these classes, take them, because it's the best thing that has happened to me. I have goals. I want to go back to school, and there's a few ladies in the class that I've attended that have went back to school. There's 2. So I just wish everybody can experience this class, because it's one of the best classes that I've attended. And it showed me, I even take my financial tips I've learned to other people. I'm like, this is what you got to do. And if you can't do it, you should really look into trying to get into the Bridges class, because it really helps out a lot. So I just wish everybody takes the opportunity to take it. And that's my story.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
All right. Next we have Allie Frailey. Allie, where are you from?
Hi, I think I unmuted myself. I am from Providence, Kentucky, but I was born and raised in San Diego, California, to immigrant parents. My name is actually Alejandra, but nobody can ever say it, so I just go by Allie. My father is from Mexico, so very much that I grew up with that macho personality. My mother is from Costa Rica. So no, I don't know how to make all the amazing Mexican food. Growing up, unfortunately, I saw a lot of domestic violence in my household, and I was the eldest of 4. So I remember a lot of times trying to shield my younger sister from seeing certain things, or just hearing certain things, things like that. We grew up on food stamps. I remember my mom paying with a little coupon book at the store. Both of my parents were runners, so I quickly found from a young age that was an escape for me. I ran cross country since I was 6 years old, and I still run to this day. I find it's just good for my own mental health. I was never encouraged to go to college after high school. It was always, you're going to work to help contribute to the family kind of mentality. But I decided I was going to try and do both. So I got a job, and then I also was doing part-time community college I ended up dropping out, unfortunately, and I moved out here to Kentucky and got married. I started working here locally for the school system, for the migrant education program, and for ESL, which has my heart. And I really was just getting paid as a teacher's assistant because I did not have my degree. So when I was in my late 20s, I decided I'd go back to school, and I finished my bachelor's, and I got that in human services and counseling. And I am now able to put that to work. At first, I was teaching adult education, and then now I work as a trio professional at the local community college, and I work with middle school students. So lately, something else that I have been battling is I was just diagnosed with breast cancer in May 19th. That's why I have no eyebrows or eyelashes, so I apologize for my appearance. But I was diagnosed at 34 years old. And when I tell you that my world came crashing down, it came crashing down because I have no family history. And so I've kind of taken that upon myself also to be an advocate for breast cancer awareness, especially for younger women. We can get it too. Latinas, we can get it too. If you're in your early 30s, we can get it too. So don't skip your mammograms, and make sure you're doing those self-exams, because I'm on that train. I actually have an interview that's airing tomorrow on the local news with my advocacy. So I'm kind of excited about that.
Wow, you look amazing.
Thank you.
I didn't realize you didn't have any eyebrows. Thank you for sharing. I'll be praying for you as well.
Yes, yes. All right, so I'm going to say it again. If you are interested in sharing, please put your name in the chat that you would like to do that. You don't have to be a Getting Ahead graduate. That's what we've heard from. We could also hear from facilitators where Getting Ahead has really impacted your life, or if you're working with Bridges, how Getting Ahead has impacted. And so we'd like to hear your story. So next is Stanley Smith.
Well, hello, everyone. My name is Stanley Smith. I'm from Toledo, Ohio. I have a very unique story. My heart goes up. Hello, family. There was a time that I had isolated myself away from the world, that I did not trust no one. I'm a returning citizen. I've been incarcerated the majority of my life. In 1998, I wanted something different when I got out. So I started doing something different. I started volunteering. I started doing different things. In 2012, I took the Getting Ahead class. It was amazing. Those 11 resources changed my life. I see where I had made all these mistakes coming up. Never being a father to my kids, never being a good son to my mother, never being a friend to anyone, living in poverty, living a criminal type lifestyle, and I was horrible. Then I got custody of my 9-year-old son. We lived in a little raggedy house with a little mouse. They used to eat up everything, and I would take a jar of peanut butter so he wouldn't take a bite out of everything we had in the cabinet. I'm the very first one to get housing through LMAJ here in Lucas County for me and my son. I stayed on low-income houses for 4 years. I got approved for this type of housing, even with my background. All I know is Getting Ahead means so much to me because I've been a taker all my life. This is the first time I'm able to give back. What I like to tell you is not so much of what my past was, but let me tell you how well it's been for me since these last 8 years. I work for Lucas County Family Council. I'm a Getting Ahead facilitator. I do tactical communication with Angel Tucker. I advocate for people who have been incarcerated. I introduce them to resources to help them navigate themselves back in society. Tomorrow morning, I'll still be online doing the classes, but I cook at Salem Lutheran Church for 250 people on the north end here in Toledo. Been doing that for over a year and a half. would you believe I finally joined the church? You know, I've been married for 4 years. I love my wife. First time I ever been faithful to a woman in my whole life. Oh my God. You know, I'm so, when this pandemic started and I really wanted to go to down to Texas, I really wanted to be there because I love meeting people. I said, what we're gonna do? And then when you guys come up with this here online, I had to be here. When I went to work to try to get online to get to to go through some sessions, my computer crashed. I couldn't get online. So I'm at home on my home computer. So I'm really glad to be here. You guys, I've never been more happier than I have been in my whole life. For a guy who comes from nothing to doing what I'm doing now, I am truly blessed. I'll be retiring in about 4 more years. And my goal is I want to keep doing, I'm going to contract myself out. I still want to do Bridges work. I still want to do getting ahead classes. I took on a project because here we have a lot of teenage killings. At my church, I work with a lot of the youth. So I brought in a gang member, an active gang member, and I brought in a retired gang member to talk to our kids. You talking about something truly wonderful, making a difference in kids' lives and their parents' lives. Now we're going to start our very first juvenile getting ahead class for these young kids. For their parents that went through getting ahead, we want to send the kids to getting ahead so they can be together and help each other with each other's goals. I am truly blessed. I'm grateful to be here, and God is so good. And thank you.
Wow, that is spectacular. Let me know, Stanley. I want to know how that class go. The
Yes,
juvenile
you will
class.
know about it.
Huh?
It's interesting because, you know, it's funny that the parents go through it, but, you know, the kids, they got so much on them right now. And once we send the kids through it, and I tell you, these kids are doing great. We got one kid who makes hats who's going to start his own business.
Wow. Wow. I've done, what is it, R rules. I've done that a few times with kids. There's your 5 minutes. But I've done, hey, you were on it tonight. I just knew I was going to have to call Stanley out. Awesome job, I know. Okay. Do we have anyone else, Ms. Ruth?
Yes. Stanley, first I want to ask you, are you using Getting Ahead or are you using our rules?
We're going to use both.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you why, because the kids are so educated. These kids are real smart. Now, the our rules, they'll understand so far as they know their place about getting education. But they're also playing an adult life and adult styles in their homes. They come from broken homes. So we need that to get them to help them to understand the 11 resources to help them navigate themselves a little better to be whatever they want to be.
Hey, that's awesome.
So our rules, for those of you not familiar, our rules is Getting Ahead for high school and middle school kids. It was adapted by Betty Souther using Phil's core work. Next, we have Kisha Bailey.
Hi, how are you? How's everybody doing? I'm Kisha Bailey. I'm from Columbia, Maryland. As you can see, virtual learning behind me. My story is a little different. A little bit of background on myself. I have my bachelor's degree from Morgan State University, and I have 2 small children, 8 and 4, 2 boys. I graduated Getting Ahead last year. My situation has changed. When I took Getting Ahead, I was already a part of a work program. I was a couple of months out of work. I had what it took to work. I just didn't have the opportunity or was presented the opportunity to be successful for my family. Now, Getting Ahead has taught me a lot. Sometimes, and Getting Ahead, it's a journey you have to take for yourself. Sometimes we as moms, we tend to forget about ourselves and we focus on our children. And now, after taking the class and after graduating, now I'm in a state where as though my mindset is at poverty because everything has changed because of COVID. So now I have to retrace, excuse me if I get upset, or I'm just telling my story, my testimony. But now that I see I have to go back and look at the book, I have to refresh my memory. I have to put myself at a different place because now things are much worse than what it was. I feel as though I'm stuck, but I keep my book. I read the materials. I keep God first. That is my story. I am a part of the Getting Ahead in Howard County. I'm the co-chair of the board. So I am making moves, but it feels as though because of the economy and because things are changing, it makes me feel stuck. It makes me feel like, okay, Kisha, I have to have a plan A, B, C, D, and Z. And every time I go there, I'm stuck. And that's when willpower comes in. That's when, if you believe in, you have religion, that's when my relationship with Christ kicks in. Because the human side of me, I'm not liking this. But the spiritual side of me understands that sometimes it's necessary in order for God to get your attention. And it's necessary for him to get the glory out of the situation. Because sometimes I have to tell myself that take myself out of a situation and let God be in it. And right now, I tell y'all, I am blessed and stressed, but I am blessed. And that is my story. Thank you for letting me share.
Wow, thank you. Thank you. Wow. I have no words, but wow. 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 Okay, do we have anyone else?
Yes, for each of you that presented, I hope that you're looking in the chat box because there are a lot of individuals on this call that are supporting you and sending you love. And so please get in that chat box and look at those comments. Next, we have Nancy Ann Smith.
Hi, I am one of the facilitators, and I have been with my community action agency in sections of my life across a few decades. And I'm so glad to hear all these stories. You are just beaming with the potential of this Getting Ahead program. I just love it. So I have to tell you, we have the Getting Ahead program in our agency. We are getting ready we're getting started with Getting Ahead while getting out. And we have the R&R for our youth program. All of these programs are so valuable. The people that have come through, Brittany, I could just go on for an hour on Brittany, but she's a worker at the agency, but she was working part-time, and she has taken this in, Getting Ahead. She just grabbed hold of it and made it make sense even more than the book could teach. Shelley is somebody who faced cancer. Allie, you'll feel good about her. She faced it. She's living on, and she's talking about getting ahead. She's promoting it to all her friends and church members, and she just keeps on rolling. Zenobia came to Getting Ahead a year after having brain surgery, and she just sailed with it. This Getting Ahead reaches everybody, no matter where the hard part is, whether the hard part is getting started or holding on or getting through a rough spot. No matter, every one of them got through it. And so all I've got to say is it's fabulous. um, I'd rather be short than go over 5 minutes, so I won't start on any other stories.
Thank you for sharing, Nancy.
I really appreciate that, Nancy. I know there are other Getting Ahead facilitators on the line, and if you're willing to share, please put that in the chat box. And we also have some, I'm not calling them old, I'm just saying they're really old graduates of Getting Ahead on the call. And if you guys would be willing to share a journey, since it's longer, seasoned, somebody said you're seasoned. If you would be willing to share some of your journey, please let me know that too. Jeanne Harper.
There you go. I unmuted. I changed my background. My granddaughter made these all. Aren't those cool? So she's getting ready for Halloween. So I just wanted to just share that I've been in this since, well, my husband and I really were at one of Ruby's workshops in the Fox Valley in just north of Green Bay. And that was back in the 90s when she first was going around to all the teachers and all the social workers. My husband was a social work supervisor of all family and marriage and children for the county. So I went along because I was in college. Much like Kiva, I started late, Kiva, and I was 29 and I started college. And so I had been touched by Ruby's work. And that was very helpful because in 2011, Sheila Gilbert was the national president of St. Vincent de Paul Society. So she asked me to get a conference started. Now you have to appreciate, I had just had Phil and Jody in October, and she wanted me to start in January, and then I was to present and have my grads at the June meeting. So we're all brand new at all of this stuff, and Phil said, you're gonna be fine. I have, my background is 28 years as a psychotherapist, and I was a teacher 5 years while I worked on my master's, so I had that behind me. But my student intern and I had our first group in 2011, and I am very happy to say that at this point, we have now started 65 Getting Ahead sites throughout the United States. So we're very, very excited. And our conference started in, we're gonna be 100 years old, guys, in October. So October 22nd, our conference will be 100 years old, and we were the first St. Vincent de Paul group that started this. And now I am so excited that Kiva is gonna be on. I asked her and said, Kiva, you need to come on board. She made a video for us. I wish you could all see the video. We do have it on the national website, and I know I sent it to, I think I sent it to Ruth. So Ruth has it, and she did the same talk for you guys at our national convention 2 weeks ago. And so she's doing the policy making. So I told Phil he ought to be very excited. Kiva's taking that next step. She's now on our national Getting Ahead. We have a subcommittee, and she's on there. By the way, you'll all appreciate this. She's helping us do virtual Getting Ahead. She's been the student doing all the assignments that Joe sends her, and then she gives Joe feedback. So Kiva is really going to be a voice for us nationally as well as locally. So I just want to thank Ruby and Phil for starting Getting Ahead, because it certainly has changed my life. That's all I've been doing, and really appreciate that. Our local group is called Building Bridges to a Brighter Tomorrow. Our grads named it. So that's our local group. And Kiva's in that as well. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Man, that's awesome. That's amazing. And congratulations, Kiva. They're keeping you busy. That's awesome. Awesome. All righty.
Jeanne, one of the questions asked of you is how many people go through your program at a time? I know, you know.
8 to 10. 8 to 10. Yeah. Kiva, what did you guys have? Did you have 6 or 7, Kiva? How many did you have in your graduating group, in your Getting Ahead group?
Yeah, I believe it was like 7 of us, or
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
they
about 7 of us, 8. Yeah.
8 or 9, and then we always lose 1 or 2. That always happens because people just decide something happens, it's just not right for them. Thank you for the question. That's a great question. So.
Great. Okay, next, Carol Steegman.
All righty.
Hi, everybody. I am a graduate from 2011. I have been to a few of the conferences. I have had the pleasure of doing a couple videos back here at home. I'm from Ohio, Findlay, Ohio, small little town. So we've done some videos here for some fundraising efforts and to get the word out about getting ahead and bridges out of poverty. I think one of my most favorite memories is my very first conference in 2013 and just walking into the conference and that buzz that you feel, you know, it's like electricity during the conference of all these like-minded people that are just waiting to share stories, and they're waiting to share thoughts and feelings, and that has carried over for me to every conference. And like some of you, I was really bummed out that we couldn't all be together in Texas, so that we could, you know, do our high fives and our hugs and our fist bumps and, you know, and just get together for that exciting time. But I'm so thankful that we are able to meet online. My story is similar to some of yours. I went through domestic violence. I was single parent raising 3 daughters. My youngest was born at 24 weeks, and it just, I grew up very middle class, and so falling into poverty is what I liken my story to. Is I feel like I took a step and all of a sudden it was a whole different world. And a lot of times I get very emotional talking about my hard times, so I'm not going to do that tonight because we're all having a great time. But I just want to share that getting ahead has definitely given me the tools so that when I am in a hard situation, I can take a breath, take a step back, and reflect on what I've learned and keep pushing forward. My faith has carried me through a lot of trials over the last year. Again, trying not to get emotional. I lost my dad last year, and that was one of the hardest things I've been through. But knowing that he got to see me get out of the hole, so to speak, because I just kept pushing through because of getting ahead, just meant the world to me. And also meeting all of you at conferences, all the other getting ahead grads, you inspire me, you push me, you just, it's exciting to be a grad. Very, very exciting to be a grad, even though we've gone through a lot of struggles separately and together. I am so, so proud to tell people I am a Getting Ahead graduate. So proud. So thank you for this time, and just keep moving, you guys. The next right thing, the next step, the next moment, we are Getting Ahead grads. Love you guys very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
One thing that Carol did not share is she's a Habitat house owner.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, remember, if you wanna share your story, Getting Ahead grad, facilitator, bridges, whatever, please put your name in the chat and let me know. Next, we have Jesse Quintana.
What's up, everybody? Man, it's been a long time. I was really, really looking forward to meeting together, but I'll take this too. So first of all, I just want to say sorry for your loss, Carol. We love you, and we're always here for you. You know that. I am Jesse. I work for a community action partnership here in Lewiston, Idaho. I am a family coach and a Getting Ahead grad, and also a facilitator. So I graduated, almost 10 years ago probably now, and I've been facilitating for about 8 years now. And I just appreciate everybody sharing their stories. One thing that I've learned in this process of life is there's something very powerful about people sharing their experiences with each other. It's one of the things that helped me get past the darkest times in my life, was being able to connect with other people and gaining hope from that. And so one of the things that I try to do the most that I possibly can do is just to be as raw as I possibly can be, and to be as open as I can be. I tend not to have very many secrets when I talk to people. I would love to spend the next 5 minutes talking about my story, but it's really probably not enough. But I will share some of my stuff. But I will say this, because I know Stanley was talking about doing classes with juveniles and things like that. I've been lucky enough to be able to facilitate some classes in alternative schools here in Idaho and in Washington. And I will say that's probably the most rewarding work I've ever done in my life. Because going through Getting Ahead for me at a time where I was at was something that gave me a lot of hope. Something that I never had before. I never had hope before. I didn't trust people. I didn't think anything was going to happen good in my life. And that was something that happened for me. So to be able to do that with teenagers and people who are at that crossroad in life, who are about ready to either say, yeah, I think I can do this, or no, this world is just crap, because you see a lot of people giving up nowadays, and it is what it is. But to be able to give them some hope at that stage in life, I think is very important. You know, they are the ones who are going to be making our community. But as far as me, I mean, I don't even know where to begin, but for me, I had, like a lot of people, a really terrible childhood. I never had parents. My parents died when I was very young. I was a warrior of the state since I was 5. And nobody ever adopted me or took me in as their own. So I lived a pretty bad childhood. I went through a lot of abuse and things like that. And for me, when I got to teenage years, I took the road that a lot of people take when they've been through some bad stuff. And I took the road of crime. I took the road of drugs. I spent 14 years in prison. And these aren't things that I'm ashamed of, because it's a part of who I am today. But if you were to meet me today and you didn't see my tattoos and you didn't know my background, you'd never guess in a million years the things that I had been through or where I had been in life. Because for me, all those things just kind of became a humbling experience for me. So now I get to take my life experiences and the things that have happened to me and share them with other people. And I think that's what makes all of this work, and it makes it important to do in every community across the nation, international. It doesn't matter, because we're all people, we're all in this together, and we all have similar experiences. We've all had hardships in our life. There's nobody who has had everything go their way in life. Yes, some may have it easier than others, and that some may have it better than others. But I tell you what, one thing that I have learned is the people that have gone through the hardest stuff are the people that are the most appreciative. When you finally reach out to them and say, hey, I'm here for you. I'm here to love on you. I'll be by your side. Look, I have this stuff as well. And you can see that I've done it too. So, I mean, I'm proud of who I am today. I bought my own house. I take care of my kids. I go to work on time. You know, I do everything that I'm supposed to do, but I'm also giving back to my community as well. You know, I spend my time helping other people, and that's, to me, that's the most important thing. It's just love one another and do what you can, you know. And so I really appreciate everybody that's here right now, everybody that I've met through this process, and I love all you guys. So thanks for letting me share.
That was truly amazing, Jesse. When I tell you that was perfect timing. But it was an amazing story. You had like 9 seconds or less. I missed your 1 minute mark because I was just like, but I apologize, but that was awesome. That was amazing. That was an amazing story. Thank you for sharing. All right, Miss Ruth.
Yes. Anybody else? Anybody doesn't know where the chat feature is and you just want to open up your mic and share? Well, I asked Ruby Payne if she would like to say a few things before we end today. So, Nancy, did you want to share?
Sure. I'm Nancy Jones. I'm in Tucson, Arizona. I am not a GA grad, but I am a graduate of the facilitator program. For 20 years, I worked in high schools here, starting businesses with kids as the managers and leaders. And yes, my hair is gray, I dye it. So then I transitioned into coaching. And so now I do business and career coaching with a foundation of mindset and leadership. What I wanted to tell you is that even though I don't do GA, it inspired me to start a nonprofit called Heartfelt Income Ministries, where we have a 4-pronged focus. We have skill development in cottage industries. We have entrepreneurship, leadership, and then finance. So basically, it's all formed around having a small business in a cottage industry type thing, something you could do from your home, making a little bit of extra money to make it through the month, and possibly even turn it into a major career or business. On the side, I'm also doing business coaching, and I've recently hooked up with the Tucson Refugee Ministry to work with some of those folks as well to help them, because this is it's a double whammy, learning business and learning business in the United States as opposed to wherever they're from. So I just wanted to let you know that Getting Ahead has a bigger view than and an impact than just the classes. And there are 4 other people that went to the Getting Ahead thing that are working with me. Now, COVID has put a wrench in our works. So we're revamping to do some of the things that we were doing online instead of, like jewelry making. We can do that online. Sewing, not so much. So anyway, just wanted to share that it's a wonderful thing. I had Ruby Payne education when I was in the schools. I was a coach for different groups, teams from the schools, and they used a lot of her methodology to work with kids, and so that was great as well. So that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Okay, Miss Ruth.
Well, we are going to hand it over to Ruby Payne.
All right.
Okay. Well, I have to say it's been a wonderful evening for me. I I apologize for being a little late getting on. I had my times mixed up. But I want to thank you for all you have done and are doing. And I want to leave you kind of with, tomorrow I'm going to talk about how stories, when Jesse said how stories carry you, that's really true. And so tomorrow we're, in the keynote, we're going to talk about stories and the brain. But Gene Krebs and Phil Duvall, in their book, Working Across Every Divide, they have a metaphor concept in there that I thought I love, and it's called an anchor tree. How many of you have been past a field in a farming country or an empty field, and you've seen a big tree standing out in the middle of the field? How many of you have seen that? Okay, well, that is called an anchor tree. And what they used to do is when they were clearing the fields, they would put hook an oxen up to a chain, and they'd use that tree as a fulcrum, and they'd use it to pull out the stumps in the field, and it became an anchor tree. And so as each of you were telling your stories, I had to think about what an anchor tree you are for your community and for the people that you touch. When Jesse was talking about the teenagers he works with, and several of you talked about that, Stanley talked about that. Having been in education for so long, one of the things that breaks my heart is the number of kids and the number of adults who don't have an anchor tree. And so one of the things everybody on this line, everybody on this chat this evening does is they provide an anchor tree for somebody. And that's an unbelievable gift. So COVID has destroyed a lot of what we know for the time being. But one thing it can't take away is being an anchor tree. So as each of you go back to your lives and your communities, I encourage you to be that anchor tree. I don't know anybody right now that hasn't been touched or hit by COVID. And so staying firm. And the last thing I'll say is this: 1918 pandemic. After that pandemic was over, you know what they had? The Roaring 20s. They had parties, parties, parties. So I personally am looking forward to the Roaring 20s again. So thank you all for all you do, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Thanks, everybody. We appreciate your sharing, your being here to listen and learn. And tomorrow we have breakout sessions first. Those breakout sessions start at 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Mountain, and then we have 7 a.m. Pacific. If you aren't sure what session you want to go to, the agenda is out on the AHA Process website. And then after the breakout sessions, Ruby will do a concluding keynote. So we wish you all a good night and see you guys tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Good night, guys.